Ready? Call the meeting to order. Will please call the roll.
Burgess. Here. Jones.
Here.
Myers.
Here.
Bates. Here. Washington. Here. Williams.
All right, we have item number 2, Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program, Local Assistant Assurance Resolution. Tom and Baxter, come on up, you get the hot seat. Now, see, your mic's not on, but do me a favor. If you hold the button till the green light comes on, hold it really close and talk loud. You're in that peak right there, you'll hear yourself echo, but the people in the back can't hear you. So,
I am.
there.
So this is a resolution you have for you is a support resolution for the village to apply for Illinois Transportation Enhancement Program funds for the continuation of the Sauk Trail bike path that is currently funded for preliminary engineering through the congestion mitigation air quality program that was approved last fall, early winter. For preliminary engineering, the state of Illinois does a biannual call for projects, and the current applications are due at the end of June. So, continuing to seek funding, we ask the village if they're interested in participating in the program, and we've completed application. And one of the requirements is a support resolution from the village.
This is a continuance, just so we're clear, where the state left off and going, I always get this mixed up, north, south, east, going west all the way to Cottage Grove, and then south from Cottage Grove to Marybird Drive.
Yes.
So that would be the continuance of that bike path.
Yes.
And so that we're clear, so there's any questions, how much is this going to cost the village?
This is an 80-20 program split for engineering and construction. Cook County has agreed to pick up the village's local match if they're selected for CMAC, STP, or ITEP program funds.
So the passage of the resolution would allow the county to pick up the village's portion, the 20% match.
Well, you would have to have an agreement with the county in place, but essentially.
The costing the village nothing, and the bike path will continue.
Right, yes.
All right, Trustee Myers? I'm going to pass in that mic, please.
If everything goes well, when you project starting the project?
We're currently developing the preliminary engineering agreement. We had a kickoff meeting by that earlier this year. So pending that approval, it would be into the fall
So,
for the engineering.
so it should be in place by the start of September for the students who used it, so we need to get on.
No, it'll be a couple of years of looking into 18 constructing depending on the funding through the ITEP program.
Is this going to continue as asphalt or concrete
It
or?
would be asphalt, continue the same 8-foot path.
So that picks up the west side of 394 where it stops there.
Yes.
Trustee Myers?
Yes, in any way is this going to, or funds going to be from the TIF at all?
No. No, the local match is picked up by the county. There should be an email in that.
Yeah, but I did, because I was looking to see, so I just heard from the mayor stating that it won't cost us anything. I thought we had to apply. Don't we have to apply for matching funds or from the state?
No, the state funds are federal funds that pass through
Okay.
the state. The state administers the federal funds. And normally, the client agency would be responsible for the local match, but in this case, Cook County has agreed to pick it up.
Okay, because I was looking and I didn't see anything. I saw that it was a part of a matching funding, but I didn't see that Cook County would actually pick it up.
There should be.
This is the entire email that we got.
Okay. So if we don't, okay, say we sign on to this project and we don't get the funding, are we still left having to pay, or can we cancel, can the program?
Well, no, you're not building anything unless the funding's not in place. The only thing we're doing now, working towards, is preliminary engineering, and I would come back at some point to discuss the preliminary engineering agreement once we settle all the scope with IDOT.
Okay,
So that way we would stop pending future funding for construction, but there's nothing in place now other than preliminary engineering, which just determines all the environmental impacts, works out the alignment, these right-of-way requirements. Such.
and did you just get this, all this packet together just here recently, or was this something that we could have looked at a couple of months ago?
It's just been recently that we call for projects.
Okay, because it has a deadline of June
Yes,
17th.
they have a short.
That's kind, yes.
Yes,
And the resolution is just saying we support this project.
right.
So it's not that we're out saying that we're going to pay for it or anything, we just support. And if I remember right, the county is also picking up Stager's portion also. Because some of that
Yeah, it's
property
got
goes to Stager.
Sauk Village State. So, and Sauk Village is a lead to start with.
But there's no problem with it going down by Bloom Trail, going south on Bloom Trail.
Stager's been very
Yeah,
supportive.
we've already, the CMAQ application had this support.
Stager's been very supportive from the very beginning. Because if you realize the south side, there's only a couple portions on Sauk Trail where it's really Sauk Village. The majority of it is Stager. So it goes all the way down through, you put all those houses on the south side, it's all Stager. In front now of Bloom Trail, Stager. When you turn down Cottage Grove, it's Stager, until you get to Maryburn Drive or just before there, and then it turns into Sauk Village. So we only have small portions. So this resolution says we're in support of this bike path continuance, again, for safety and well-being of our children, number one, because it's a path that's going to head to our schools. Plus, it also finishes something that the state had already started.
On the last page that you sent us as far as the resolution, it does state that certifies that they are willing, they being us, correct? On the resolution, that the second page. It says certifies that they are willing, that they is at the village.
Yes.
Okay, so we will be or should be able to manage, maintain, and operate the project.
Yes.
So once they put it in, it'll be ours to whatever we have to do to it. So
Yes,
they have-
like the sidewalks up and down Sauk.
Right, the sidewalks, correct. Now,
You're responsible for the
but
maintenance.
where are we going to get the extra money to do this? Because right now we have a lot of projects that are here in the village we need to take care of also. So we're adding more. So where are we going to get the money?
Long-term maintenance funds?
Whatever. I mean, we're bringing on more work, but I wanted to know where are we going to get the money? Is it something later down the road that we're going to have to raise taxes to maintain this? Because right now we have a tight budget.
Right. Well, this wouldn't be for several years yet, but there would be some maintenance responsibility because you want to maintain it.
Absolutely, it's because it becomes part of ours, and that's what I'm asking. Is there anything in place to bring, yes, it's down the way, but I don't like the plan that, because it'll come pretty soon, pretty quick, and then we won't have the money, then we have to go back to the raise funds or whatever to make it happen.
The grant program does not take care of long-term maintenance. The village would have to maintain it with or without state or school district.
So we maintain our portion, and I guess the state would maintain their portion.
Yes, essentially, that's the way the agreement probably is agreed with the county.
And do they, being state, have the same agreement? Or is it just,
No, this is since Sauk Village is a legal agency, this is the agreement. It goes along with the application, and then any sort of, well, Staker wouldn't have an agreement, they would have like a maintenance agreement with IDOT later on in the project moves forward, but the only other agreement would be between the village and the county, the local.
because, I heard someone say that it would be, the kids can go down there or ride their bikes to school. If you live on the other side of 394, you get bus. get bus to Little Trail. You don't walk to Little Trail if you live on that side. So I'm just looking at, we're gonna create something, but it has to be maintained. It has to be, right now, I think the state or county cuts the grass down there. So I don't, yeah. So this is just something new, and I'm just looking at down the way. Can we afford this? And if we don't do this, what are the repercussions? I mean, what are we going to do? Because the whole project costs 1.3, and you're saying right now all we have to do is just sign an agreement to move forward with that. But I'm just looking at down the way that how much money is it going to impact the village at the time. Right now, it's basically maintenance, and I don't know if the county hands out tickets or whatever, but don't maintain it correctly, then are we going to be penalized for that? So those are some of the questions that I have.
I don't think they hand out tickets. There's some sort of.
Yeah, that's what I'm
They have to
saying.
step in and maintain.
Yeah, I mean, we hand out tickets if somebody doesn't maintain their property, so.
Yeah, just like any sidewalk.
Right.
There's maintenance requirements that we're responsible for.
We're talking like a few hundred feet. This side is by 394 and a few hundred feet down by Cottage, down by Harryburg Drive.
There's no, in front of tip two, there's no, that's not the village. In front of tip two, the first, yes, on the left, on the south side, that's not part of Sauk Village?
That is something.
So that's more than 100 feet.
That's a few hundred feet.
Oh,
Do you have any idea about like how the estimated cost? I mean, I know that we're talking probably 5 to 7 years down the road. There would be a time where we have to have maintenance done. But
Oh, you would want to maintain it during the winter, so it's snow.
Well, right.
And then any sort of long-term, sort of patching, coating, preventative maintenance to it.
can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there'd be an annual maintenance for the snow removal and that would be the big one.
but like I said, I'm sorry. Would TIP pick up any of this?
High school,
We could, I mean, the areas it's going to
we don't
be.
discuss long-term maintenance.
I mean, I don't want to cut you off, but I feel like if any part of it is on saying, you're talking about maintenance that our public works would do, probably anyway, to maintain an area that would be on us, that they don't come and they don't shovel my sidewalk, but they shovel this sidewalk. So I would assume, just as any other case, when we did a tip drop, we would figure out the 0.1% of their job, or how much money that they've done, and we would draw it down. It's like we do with administration. We look at the police department, we look at the fire department, and we see how much, what was the call activity of the tip, and then based on that, we draw that percentage amount of money when you do a tip drop. So I think that would be able to cover some of the costs in the area in the tip. And I think the rest of it would, from what you're saying, I assume it would be a nominal amount as far as public works out, rotating this part of Sauk Village, which would be a new part, adding this to additional work that they already have. Which I think, so like for the yearly maintenance, I don't think it's going to be that big of an impact on the village. Now, if there was, problems with the actual structure, cracks, things like that, obviously that's something that we can't foresee at this point in time. But that would be a higher cost. I mean, I think that, I know a lot of people do get bus, but I do see people walking up and down the area, whether it's homeschool or, not everybody's fortunate enough to have a vehicle, so they may need to walk to wherever for whatever reason. So I think it would be, because right now, I see people walking on the median.
We did a study, yeah.
Yeah.
We had a study done, 2 or 3 years ago? Before IDOT started that project to get IDOT, to give all the information to IDOT, and that's one reason IDOT put the bike path in, crossing 394, because of the study that was done. Plus, we've also had some people that were hit walking down Sauk Trail, so there's a bunch of data that went into that. when IDOT did all those improvements at 394 South Trail.
And just to clarify, again, this is just, I know we've been here before, we've talked about this before, this is just another step.
Yes, this is just another step. This is not a guarantee, this is a competitive program, you guys have the applications statewide, and no guarantee which village will receive it, but it's a good candidate, because it's continuing the project, the intersection crossing right now, 394. It's following up on CMAQ funded phase 1. It's multi-agency and supported by the county, so it's a good candidate project, right?
And the resolution just says we're in support of it,
Yes.
so that it can continue to apply for it.
Question. Under detailed estimate of cost, traffic control and protection, would that include like push button, walk and don't walk signs and?
No, that's just like barricades for worker safety, barrel boards.
So there wouldn't be anything at the intersection of 394?
There's
There
already
it
push
is.
buttons in place.
There it is.
There's,
It was all done when
It's all
the
done.
state came through and did all 394. When they put the walking in, on the south side of 394, they've got all the push buttons in, they've got the walk, do not walk signs, everything's in place. That was all.
That was a
part of
big
the
hurdle, just getting across 394.
project. Right.
it's got to walk across.
There you can just drive up there and take a look. Trustee Tate.
Look at the agreement that some village has to sign. On page 1, it says, whereas ITEP is a reimbursement program.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, earlier, I started hearing that some village would pay a portion of it. But it sounds like some village pay, according to this, will reimburse 50% of the cost for the land acquisition and 80% of the cost for engineering. That's what they're going to reimburse. Those total costs up front, some village has to pay.
Yes, you would front the money and then submit reimbursement request to IDOT, and the 80% or 50% for land acquisition would be returned to the village, similar to what's going on with Crystal Center Drive, the state-funded potential.
Okay, so some village should be prepared to pay.
They should budget for whatever is in a fiscal year, understanding that it would be 80% back within 1%. IDOT, state.
And the county's picking up the other 20%.
And then you would apply to the county for the 20%.
Well, my issue is that some village has to come up with money up front.
Not the entire amount, it's progressive billing as the project moves along.
Please, everyone, if you need to talk, please go outside.
So, and still, we reimburse at the percentages that are indicated in the agreement, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Since the county's involved in this and Stager's involved in this, do we know what percentages we're looking at? It seems to be a three-way partnership. Do we know what Stager's paying, what?
Staker is similar to the village, is counties picking up their share as well. So they have no out-of-pocket.
So they're,
Other than it, well, they don't have any cost because Sauk Village is the lead agency on the project. So you would be paying like all the invoices for engineering, requesting reimbursement to IDOT and the county. And then Staker wouldn't have any component because Sauk Village is the lead.
so Stager wouldn't have any cost then?
No, well, yes, that's right.
I was looking at the document and it has the bicycle facility. And I was looking at page 2 in the packet that we received. And it has where a survey was done on, I'm sorry, it says bicycle facility, page 2 at the top.
Okay.
And this appears to say that some type of a survey was conducted in the year 2010. And it tested volumes of traffic. Am I interpreting this correct? If you look where it says East Sauk Trail, it says traffic volumes.
Yes.
And it says 16,600,
Yes,
and
the
this
traffic,
was done in the year 2010.
yes.
And the 16,600 vehicles that pass through an area, or what's the 16,000?
Oh, that's the vehicles that pass a point in a day along Sauk Trail. That's probably from the IDOT report when they did the intersection improvement.
Okay, and the same applies when we look at Cottage Grove Avenue. This is 2,500, that's the same.
Yeah, that's just the number of
Methodology.
vehicles that pass a point in both directions in one day in the year 2010.
Since this was done 6 years ago, do we know if the traffic volume has increased, decreased? Do we know anything about these figures if they apply 6 years later?
No, but as part of the phase limit we'll do bike path, we would have to update these traffic counts because they'll want something current within the last couple of years.
So what impacts that? If the 16,000 goes down to 12,000, the 16,000 goes to 20,000, that impacts on the project cost, does it not?
Oh, no, necessarily. Those are cars that are inside the pavement, so they won't be impacting bicyclists or pedestrians that are using the path. That's just number of vehicles that are going back and forth all day long.
Yeah.
They do a traffic count at one spot and total them all.
So I'm trying to find out what's the relevance of the figures if it doesn't, for Sauk Village, if it doesn't impact Sauk Village's cost. I'm wondering what is the relevance of having those.
Oh, well, this is just a generic form, the CMAQ application. A lot of it has to do with, improving air quality with reduced traffic. So they were just curious on what the ADT was adjacent to the 2 segments of the bike path.
Okay,
And 16,000 is very high volume.
yeah, and it says somewhere in here, it says heavily traveled or high volume traffic or something like that. And I'm just wondering why we're going to put, if it's already a highly traveled area, and we're going to put children, bicycles out there with them also.
Well, they wouldn't be in the road.
Well, I really.
There'd be a separation, there'd be a 5-foot gap between the back and curb.
Yeah, and that was wonders in Chicago. So, people don't always stay in their lane and avoid bicycle paths. So I'm wondering, is the
Even
heaviness
in Chicago, when they're on the pavement.
in Chicago, they have bicycle lanes where they're taking out a travel and made it to a bicycle lane. And I'm saying people don't adhere and avoid those. So I'm just concerned that it's a highly traveled area already. And now we're going to put bicycles on an 8-foot wide, I think it's an 8-foot wide roadway, bicycle path.
Right.
So I'm just wondering about the safety, or are we jeopardizing the safety of the bicycle riders, no matter if they're children or adults?
I think what we realize is we're not doing what Chicago's doing. This does not put a bike path along the road. This puts a bike path, if you consider 5 feet off of the road, into the, you've got a grass area, then you're going to be 5 feet off the road where the bike path's going to go. This is to keep people, pedestrians, and bikes off of the 4-lane Sauk Trail and move them 5 feet away, 5 feet or more away from the traffic. We're not adding a bike lane inside the road.
I never said that.
I'm just making sure it's understood that we're not adding our.
Thanks for clarifying, I appreciate it. On the detailed estimates cost page, I see $1.3 million, and it's itemized from everything's going to be done, include curb removals and I guess construction also for that whole area. So when I look at the $1.3 million cost, am I looking at a total cost or estimate of what it's going to take to get this done?
Yes, that's what we estimated when we put this together last year.
Okay.
There might be a little tweaks because of what the state did, but essentially,
I'm sorry, I didn't.
this is essentially in the neighborhood of what it would cost to complete the bike path.
Okay, and again, we go back to the first page we talked about earlier, we talked about the 50% reimbursement and the 8% reimbursement
Yes.
applies when I look at the $1.3 million, correct?
And in the end, it's 100% reimbursement
Yes.
with the counties.
Allegedly.
I understand.
Well, I'm saying we're depending, this is federal money that's coming through the state, correct?
Yes.
But the state administers, I guess, is the proper term. And then Sauk Village applies to participate or to get reimbursement. I'm not sure the terminology. But Sauk Village would apply to get reimbursed at the rates that we talked about earlier.
Yes.
The 50% and 8%.
Yes.
Okay? And Sauk Village's money is tied up until we get the reimbursement at the rates that we talked about.
Yes.
And there's no guarantee it's federal money, but it's being administered by the state of Illinois. There's no guarantee that Sauk Village pays out a portion of this $1.3 million that the state is going to give them 80% or 50%, whichever is applicable.
Well, yeah, I suppose with the way the Shankel is working, but they administer a lot of federal funds, so it would be a priority to them too. Otherwise, who would enter into agreement with them?
Kind of gives you an example, like the trustees might understand here, is when we did the well improvements, the village paid the money out, and we turned in, as the work was done, the work that was done was turned in, the village was reimbursed. So when you saw accounts payable, the village was paying out a certain amount of money to the contractor, we were getting reimbursed that money when it went in. So it's the same thing through the grants. Any grant you get, most of them is the village pays. And again, with this one here being 80-20, and with the county picking up the other 20, it's a benefit. Again, the resolution just says, we're in favor of this. We support this to get this bike path finished, and it shows that, again, we've got a lot of intergovernmental agencies involved. So when you get Stager, you've got county, you've got state, you've got Sauk Village, CMAT, the federal, because they're federal funds.
South Suburban is a supporter too, because this is a segment of the overall bike plan they're updating region-wide.
But that won't be completed until next year, correct?
The South Suburban bike plan.
Right.
With study. Oh, they're updating, they have a system-wide study that they're updating, and this is a component of it. That's why they were so supportive of the CMAC application last year.
But I'm saying the finalization of what South Suburban is doing is not due until next year.
Yeah, I don't know the exact time. I'm just saying it's a component of it.
Okay.
System, so.
And Mayor, the issue, and thank you for clarifying that, is that we didn't have a budget impasse as we have now in Sauk Village. Now, this impacts on monies, period, especially when the state is talking about pensions and school education and all this other good stuff the state is talking about. So I'm not sure what a high priority paying, reimbursing Sauk Village for this project would have over the education part of it, or pensions to a retiree. I'm not
That's a
sure.
different program, this is
Yes.
specific funds, so they couldn't move it around.
These are federal funds.
Yeah, my question of it is state that, and I know you can't respond to that, so don't take it personally.
So this is just an application, and you could terminate it if you were selected, and say we don't want to go forward in the future, you could do that as well. It's an opportunity to move the project subsequent phases forward to build out the phase one that's approved in the CMAC program.
Any other questions? All right, this will be on the agenda for next week, this resolution to approve. All right, thanks, Tom, for coming out. All right, move to item 3, insurance renewal, insurance. Again, when you speak, grab the mic, speak loud. It may sound like you're echoing, but the people in the back cannot hear. And if you would, just state your name for the record, so she gets on the table. Oh, okay. Larry knows.
My name is Bob Delkis. I'm the principal at Assurance Agency.
I'm Denise, I'm the town executive of Insurance Agency.
And we're here to present. How's that? Okay. And tonight we're here to present your the renewal for your employee benefits program for the village, which encompasses the medical, dental, life, and vision, and basic life and ED coverages for the village and the village employees.
So I was gonna kind of just do a 2015 review, really quick snapshot, which starts on page 3. So the medical renewal last year with Blue Cross was actually, the original was a 0.66% increase. Assurance did negotiate it down to, it ended up being a negative 3.14% increase. So with that said, decrease, sorry. With that said, it renewed as is as far as the plan designs. So we understand the plan designs can't be changed because of the union contract. So we did present some other options, which we'll go through for 2016. But the dental was at 5%, renewed as is. The vision was at 0%, renewed as is. And then the life was under rate guarantee for until 7/1/2016. So the next page, 2016 renewal. The initial increase with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois was a 6.88%. We did Assurance negotiate it down to a 3.87%, which is approximately $29,000 savings. Below here is just kind of how the renewal is broken out. The first being the medical trend, your RX component or inflation. It was at 6.9%. The overall change in demographics went up, meaning that you could have hired someone older, or of course naturally people get older, so that was a 2.12% increase. And the overall risk of the group went actually down. So meaning some of the health conditions that might have been there before have gone away. So it actually ended up being a 2.1% decrease to the risk of the group. There are still 3 large claims that are active, which are listed out. We did go to Humana, United Healthcare, Cigna, Aetna, and Land Lincoln, which we do have in the proposal. It's really important to know, I know that we tried to go through this exercise a few years ago. In order to firm these rates up, applications would need to be filled out. Or Cigna does do a telephonic review with the underwriting, but so the rates that we're presenting with the other carriers are just base rates. So they would have to go through underwriting, and then we would get a firm medical rate. Does that make sense? Okay. The dental is 0.96% increase. We did go out to market, which we'll review. MetLife with the vision was a 0% increase, and then the life was a considerable increase at a 44% increase, but we do have some other options. So if we jump ahead to...
Are there any questions about 2015, 2016?
I'm interested in the MetLife part of it. I bet you're going to come back to that.
Yes, definitely. So if you jump to page 10, this is,
kind of explain the lay of the land. So you have two enforced plans. So the first is the PPO, and then the second plan is the HMO plan. If you drop down to the bottom, this is how your current enrollment is. So for example, you have 25 employee onlys in the PPO, 3 employee onlys in the HMO. So your total enrollment on the PPO is 41, and then on the HMO is 7, which puts, this is the in-force before the renewal at 62,000 monthly approximately. Then to the right of it is the exact same plans. This was the initial renewal at 6.93 with the same enrollment, with the increase of, so it's 66,000 per month. If you go to the next page, this is basically just the revised renewal. On the right-hand side at 3.87%. So we just put your in-force again on the left side, and then the revised renewal with the same enrollment, same plans, reflecting a 3.87% increase. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you go to the next page, is page 12. This is just an alternate. I think sorry? Okay. So because I know you have a union contract in there, this is just a suggestion, but I know that your hands are kind of tied, so this would be a $250 deductible with an out-of-pocket of $1,250. Currently, for example, on your current PPO, it's a $0 deductible, 0 out-of-pocket. We did initially meet with Mohan back in end of April, and that was something that was, concern brought up because of we wouldn't be able to change the plans at this point. But with that said, that just shows an overall decrease in the plan of approximately 1% below the enforced rates. Do you have any questions? We do have some other alternative plans, but before I move on, do you have any other?
When you look at the plans, is this the employee and employee family, or is it just the employee? Who's covered?
Oh, so right now, if you go down to, let's see, we just looked at that PPO plan. We have to make some assumptions. If the union did agree to a $250 deductible, we would assume the same people that are in the PPO are going to go into that $250 deductible, and the same people in the HMO are going to go in there. So on the bottom, for example, you've got 25 employee onlys, 6 employee plus spouse, and this is PPO only, 1 employee plus child, and then 7 in family, and there are 2 on Medicare. Does that answer your question? And then on the HMO is 3 employee onlys, 1 employee child, and then 3 family.
So yes, it is the employees and their family spouses.
Yes, on your page 12, at the top, you have 250 and 500 under the PPO.
Yep, so the bottom, I'm sorry.
No, I'm saying under HMO is 0.
So the 250 deductible is in-network, the 500 is out-of-network,
Okay.
and on the HMO, there is no out-of-network benefits.
Okay, so
two
you
out-of-network.
have to be in the network.
Correct.
In the future.
And it's a small.
Pardon me? It's a small network?
Yeah.
Okay. But now what about the premiums? Are the premiums the same for each?
Between the PPO and the HMO?
Yeah.
So the PPO employee only is $836.37, and then the HMO is $675.65.
A year or a month?
That's a month. And then it breaks it out further, employee plus spouse, employee plus child, that's the monthly rate, and then the family, that's the monthly rate for the PPO, and then on the other side is the HMO.
Okay, and then down where it says urgent care, so that's what they're going, a lot of places now are going to urgent care, but they're not, some of them make you go to urgent care instead of going to emergency room. It says here for the PPO, 80% after the deductible. So that's 80% they will cover after you pay $150, correct?
After you pay the 200, in this example, the 250, right?
and 500 on network.
And again, that's just an alternative to
I was going to ask you, what do we have? Do we have,
above.
Page number 11.
So page 11 on the very top, it says in force. And then on the very top, you'll see revised renewal. I know it's a lot to look at. So you've got 2 plans in place, the PPO and the HMO, and that on page 11, the first set of plans is your in force, and then the second set of plans is the same exact plans. However, it's reflecting the increase of 3.87%.
So there's no changes to the insurance we had last year. The only change is going to be an additional 3.87%. But the employees will get the same benefits that they currently have.
you're saying their premiums won't go up?
No,
Their premiums won't go up? Their premiums, I mean, what they have to pay out of pocket as far as each month, it's the same that they paid last year, correct?
I think it does go up, right?
Sure, are you saying what the employees pay?
Yes.
Okay, the contribution is established by the union contract, and how I understand the union contract is that the premiums and the plan have to stay the same. But I would have to review the union contract again.
I always get the mix up. I can't remember if they're paying 85.15 or 80.20.
I thought it was 80/20, and the family is different.
So again, when you look at last year, it was, the employee was $859, it's going up $890. So, right.
Yeah. And then, but now, what about our portion that we have to pay as an employer? Did that change?
Yes, because of the increase.
Can't hear you.
Yeah, yes, because of the increase.
Because of the increase, yes. You know,
And how much did our portion go up?
Assuming that 80/20 is correct. So that's a difference of, that's a difference, as the mayor said, of $31 a month, and then the village is now responsible for 80% of that difference, right? So it'd be an additional $24 on the PPO,
On the PPO,
Yeah.
per employee?
per what the village would be paying.
yes.
Per employee?
Yes,
Right.
correct, correct.
And again, that's per,
Well, I mean, but I'm just looking at,
correct.
is there anything that you guys have an alternative where we don't have to pay an increase?
It's this one down here, page
Yeah.
number 12. Page number 12 is less.
Yeah.
Less
So
than we were paying last year.
we do have other periods, which are considerably less. But again, in order to firm up the rates, they have to fill out applications with United Healthcare, which is the one that's about $214,000 annually less. Cigna will allow applications, or they'll set up an 800 number for the employees to call into. And generally, depending on your health conditions, that phone call generally is about a 20-minute phone call. If you did decide to fill out applications for both UHC and Cigna, I would just suggest that we have a tool, you fill it out online, and then it goes on to a Cigna application, it goes on to a United Healthcare application, so they don't have to be doing dual work, to get firm rates.
And again, like doing, each employee would have to go through underwriting, individual underwriting. And if you go to page 13 and 14, you'll see the alternative quotes that we presented from Aetna, Humana, Cigna, and Healthcare. And you'll see Aetna's, about $287,000 less than your current rates. What we see is when a client does go through the individual underwriting process, that number changes considerably, not to the benefit of the village. because everyone has to disclose their, their health. And also, each carrier does not offer the same plan design as your current Cross Blue Shield.
Will they accept, I guess, the problem that the employee had, in other words, where he transferred, such as the person was,
Like a pre-existing?
yes,
Yes.
condition, they will accept that.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Without a premium?
Okay.
No, I'm talking about without paying an extra premium because you have the existing conditions.
So they'll take that into consideration.
So it's not
Guaranteed.
Cigna will match it, match it.
So, for example, United Healthcare is, again, these rates are based off of looking at your in-force rates. So, but we couldn't match the plan design exactly with United Healthcare. The closest that we could get would be that $0 deductible, which is what is currently in place, but the out-of-pocket is at $1,500. So currently, the out-of-pocket on PPO is at 0. So all the carriers, because of being a small group, they kind of have a shelf product. Cigna, with being an exception, it's a self-insured or a level-funded product, and they can match the benefit exactly.
Are all of the, I'm looking here on page 14, mail order. Is that Express Scripts?
It is.
It is,
Yeah.
okay.
So, for example, with United Healthcare, it's they give you a 2.5 times copay for a 90-day supply. With Blue Cross, it's a 2 times copay for a 90-day supply. So that's a little bit different. So instead of paying, 2 copays, now you're paying 2.5 copays.
And that's if you go through mail order.
That's if you go through mail order, yeah.
Do we have where you can go to Walmart or, I mean, is that part of that? Or is that an option for the employee, correct?
Correct, yeah,
And Walmart now has mail-in also.
correct.
I know.
And trustee Bruce, if you turn to page 11, where this is what we currently have, there is a mail order. There is a mail order prescription benefit built into the program.
Yeah, it just went up a little bit now. Because it went up from 30, 60, and 100 to 25, 87, and 150.
Page 11?
Page 11, I'm talking about, page 11 went from, that's what we're paying, 30, 60, and that's 30, 60, and 90 days, I assume, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Then if you look at page 14, where the new one is at, 30 days is $25 for United Healthcare, 25, 50, and 150.
Yeah, that's.
So that increased it.
That's just an alternative with United Health.
Right.
If the village would decide to pursue that option, that would.
Because I was wondering, I don't know if you have a liaison with Walmart, but a lot of times Walmart is much cheaper than a lot of these.
It is.
And are they able to do that in this plan, or they have to apply themselves?
The employees have the option to go to Walmart, Target, Costco to get that $4 prescription.
Would that be out of network, considered out of network?
It would not hit the village, it would not hit the plan history of the village. So it actually would benefit the village.
Right, that's
If
what,
the employees do that. Correct.
that's what I thought.
Are there any questions on the medical piece?
Yeah, I do have, on page 14 again, it says family out of pocket. And this, I guess, would be for deductible for in-network. Is that the deductible at $1,500, or is that just the most they'll pay, or is it at the top there, family out of pocket, including deductible? Is that the most that you'll pay for that occurrence?
So assuming, and this is on a calendar year, just like Blue Cross, so assuming that you're always going in-network, and of course that it's a covered benefit.
Right.
The most that you would pay would be the $1,500, correct? It would all your co-pays also go toward your
Okay.
out-of-pocket.
Good.
Per claim.
Per claim, correct.
It's not 1,500 for the year.
Oh, no, I'm sorry, it's 1,500, the most that you would pay out of pocket per year is 1,500.
Oh, really?
Yep,
No matter how many claims you have?
no matter how many claims you have.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's what I thought.
And caveat again, as long as it's in network.
Correct.
So you got to go to the doctor 4 or 5 times. Once you get that 1,500, they pick up 80%. Or they pick up it all?
So once, if you're going to the doctor for a sick visit, assuming you're over the age of 19 years old, it would be a $40 copay. That $40 copay would go towards that $1,500 pocket.
I see an inpatient. So they would take after the 1,500, they would actually pick up 100%. But if you go out of network, they only going to pick up 80%.
Right, 80%, and then your out-of-pocket per individual is $10,000.
Right.
So it's quite a bit. And I always explain it as 2 separate buckets. You don't get, if you go out of network one time and out of in-network the other time, they don't combine the buckets, they're separate buckets.
Any other questions regarding the medical? If you turn to page 16, go to dental.
So just like the medical is laid out, your in-force plan is the first one with MetLife, showing your current enrollment at the bottom, 20 employee only, 6 employee with spouse, 2 employee with children, and 10 family. And then over to the right is the renewal increase at 0.96%. We did go to market. The one that is most competitive is standard, and this is again against your in-force. It's 6.2% below your in-force with a comparable plan. Unlike medical, dental is pretty easy to match up, for the exact type of plan. Delta dental being higher, and then the next pages we just decline quotes, we just simply weren't competitive with your group. So again, standard would be the one that would be the most competitive if you were looking to move.
What happens if we decide to move? Is there any special enrollment that the employees have to go through?
It's really fairly easy to do. The employees don't even have to get involved in, you can do a census enrollment, meaning the administrator would just, we would take your current MetLife enrollment, we would assume that would be the same. If you did have employees during open enrollment that wanted to add on, then of course we have to add those people on.
When we asked Mohan how the dental was running and the employees, the feedback from the employees, he said everything was fine. He didn't receive any negative feedback.
And you said Delta Dental is something that is not accepted, because I'm looking at a lot of these here.
So Delta Dental's on the far right of
Right.
page 16. It's just $7,500 more than your in-force.
23.5% more.
But are there any coverages there that are, I mean, they look the same. All.
Yeah, dental's pretty easy to match, unlike the medical. Yeah.
I'm just wondering why Delta is so out of whack.
Well, and if you look at the next page too, there was a lot that were out of whack. That does not mean that competitive, so they declined for it.
Oh, okay.
Do you have any other questions before we move on to the vision?
Well, I'll tell you what, while we're here real quick, is the board looking to give same coverage or keep it the same with the same company, or are we thinking about going with the alternative, which is a 6.2% decrease?
I'm always looking for a way to save money, but if it's not that big of a difference as far as coverage, quite naturally we'll go where you can save some money.
So we'll say dental is the alternative. Well, I've come back to medical, I don't know that yet.
We're talking about looking at the sticker.
Yes.
Is it going to make sense, it'll probably make more sense, that decision to go
And we'll end up coming back
page 19 is the vision. In force is with MetLife. It is under a rate guarantee, so there is not a rate increase until 7/1/2017. We did go to market. Standard was the one that quoted, which was 12% above, or $643 above in force. And while the other ones, Guardian Principal and Sun Life declined to quote because they weren't competitive.
So this is a no-brainer.
On page 22 is the basic life and AD&D. So the in-force at flat 25,000 is with MetLife, and that's where the increase came in at 44%, or approximately $600 annually. We did go to standard. That one was the most competitive. It is still more than the in-force, however, about 24% less than the renewal. And then the next page, Guardian, Regional Law, Principal, and Sun Life declined to quote.
And Standard's willing to lock the rate into 2019?
Correct.
Do the employees have an option to increase their life insurance?
And this plan is just a basic life. We could offer a voluntary life coverage.
No, right, I mean,
But it's not, this plan would be a separate voluntary plan. Generally, we haven't in the past had it, but generally, we can roll that out at the same time or even offer renewal. There generally is, what I'm trying to say is there's a participation requirement. So we could go through the exercise, you could have people enroll, we just, generally they want 25% enrolled out of their eligibles.
okay, because I'm just looking, if you go 5 times your salary, 4 times your salary, you have an option to enroll into that, or you have to stay with the 25,000.
Well, you stick with 25,000 with the life carrier right now. If an employee wanted more than 25, it's when you would have to get a voluntary carrier to come in to supplement the $25,000.
And standard would make the most sense if you decided to move to standard to offer the voluntary along with it.
Because the reason I'm looking at, I'm just wondering, is a lot of people may pay extra insurance for this reason, but if they can get it through their primary insurance, would be through their job, maybe a little cheaper.
Absolutely.
Then they're going, because a lot of people, 25,000 nowadays for someone that's about what it costs. So I'm just wondering, can they get more coverage, maybe 50 or 75, or even go by twice the amount that they make? And how much would that payment be? They don't want to have to pay a separate insurance. They can, take it.
Trustee, we can definitely do a quote on that.
Can't hear you.
We can definitely do a quote on that.
Okay, thank you, because that would be something, they could pay the insurance instead of having to pay 2 or 3 insurances.
Understood.
So are we looking to go with the alternative on the life with 20% decrease compared to 40? Well,
we see 20%.
But it's 20% less than the renewal.
Oh,
Because
okay.
the percentage difference is that the renewal is going up 44.6%.
Right, and that's for MetLife.
Come up from MetLife, or we can go with standard with only 20%.
20%, okay, because it's not a decrease, it's
Well,
like,
Well, it's less than if we go with the current plan.
or if you go with MetLife,
And
there's no percentage, the MetLife in force, there's no increase.
That's because we're currently paying in force. That's what we're currently have.
Oh, well then,
Then MetLife, the renewal is a 44% increase. Where if we take standard, it's only a 20% increase.
And if the village, and if you decided to go with standard with the dental, standard with the life insurance, and we can look at a voluntary product with standard, we can go back to standard, see if we can get the dental and the life insurance rates lower.
yeah.
Because now we're going to go to them and now it's a big package.
So is the board online with standard? Let's see. Right now they have MetLife. All right, I would like to go back to medical for a minute. When we looked at the medical and through the alternatives, and page 11 is what we currently have. With the renewal cost is 3.87%. The question I would have is when you look at the page number 13, you have the Aetna and Humana, which Aetna, if we consider them, it's a 38% decrease in what we're currently paying, if I'm reading this correct.
That is without individual underwriting.
That's what threw me off. So we would have to go back through, if we chose either Aetna or Humana,
Or United Health, or same.
any of these, we'd have to go through all underwriting,
Correct.
which means that the cost could go right back up to where we're at Blue Cross Blue Shield, or even higher.
There's a possibility.
And we do know, based on the renewal with Blue Cross, that we do have 3 active large claims, one at 26,000, one at 24,000, and one at 16,000. So that would come out during the underwriting process and will be factored into the rates.
So I think let's stay right where we're at. Is that the suggestion?
If you're asking for a recommendation, that's what our recommendation would be. However, if you decide to go through the individual underwriting process, we go to each one of those carriers, and just pick to see if what else is out there.
But to do the underwriting, we'd have to, the employees would have to participate, and the employees would have to provide 100%. 100%.
So to clarify that a little bit, so I think right now we do have 100% participation, but anyone that's waiting, would just have to wait and not disclose their medical information, but anyone that's participating, going to participating, would have to fill out the application, so.
So we're going to go ahead and go with the recommendation, stay with the Blue Cross and Blue Shield at a 4% roundabout, 4% increase. Everyone okay with that? Okay. Looks like everyone is pretty much.
And there, we'll go back to standard and that's about the dental life rates as well as about
So this is, we're looking at voting on next Tuesday night. But you'll have,
We'll get on this tomorrow. We should be able to get this right tomorrow.
boxes by Friday, Saturday, by Friday?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. And I guess what we're looking for, just so I'm clear with everyone, is a 1 or 2 page paper. One says, one page with the new cost for the medical, 1 page for the new cost for the dental, new cost for the vision, and the new cost for the life, that'd be 4 pages.
So to clarify, if you want the renewal and then the standard, if that's, or just the new cost for just standard?
I'm looking for the new cost, so we know exactly, so we know in medical, we're going Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Okay.
We already know that. We want the true what it's going to cost.
Okay, got it.
And so dental would be standard, vision, we're going to remain the same, and then life would be standard.
Okay, yeah.
If you can just provide all that information to the board.
How much it would cost someone to get more coverage, if that's something like that?
Yep.
And
And
then
then,
we'll do that at the increments of 25.
Right.
25.
Right.
and when you send that, if you can make sure it gets to the village clerk and copy JW, and that way they can make sure between the two of them that everything is copied in the said trustee boxes. And if there's a problem, if you would, please reach out, I'd like to know for sure. If you run across anything, you're waiting for costs to come back, and it's going to be longer.
Okay, no problem.
Any other questions? All right, we'll look for your, for
Thank
everything.
you. Have a good night.
Thank you. All right, public comment. All questions and comments will be directed to the mayor. Each speaker will be given 3 minutes to comment on topics of their choice. Each speaker will be allowed 1 opportunity to speak. Please state your name for the record.
Hi, Rachel Newman. How are you today? Okay, so I wanted to ask about, there was a grant that the old trustee Hoskins had about parks, if we can get 250 people together to build a park, that the government would provide us all of the equipment. We kind of looked at me weird. I think that we kind of all, like a whole bunch of people knew about it. So I wanted to know if there was any way that we could possibly check in on that and see if we can do something like that. And then also with the thing that's going on for the kids here in the village, for the, is that still going on? The day camp? Is that still going on? And when does that start?
Okay. Do you have any other questions? We'll get everything
No,
done.
I'm asking for the one that,
Yeah, do you have anything else? No, I'm just saying, I just want to make sure you get everything you.
no, I'm asking.
Okay. So you're asking about the summer program?
Yeah, I want to know
Okay.
if we can help, if there's criteria in order to help, if when it starts.
All right. You want to discuss it now, or you want to get with her after the meeting, or do you want to give an update on the program? Or are you?
Yeah, I'll just do it now.
Okay.
It starts on the 13th. Volunteers, there's a application for the volunteers. You would need to fill that out because there's a background check, but like it would have to go through. So that'll take a little time because we kind of did that process a couple of weeks ago, you know. But yeah, it starts on the 13th from 8:30 in the morning to 2:30 in the afternoon.
And then I can get the application from you?
You'll be able to, since registration has closed, so you would be able to come up there on the 13th, and you should be able to talk to Patricia, and she'll direct you in the right direction.
The other question you asked about the grant, I don't know about the grant, about 250 individuals or anything. I do know that we were awarded a grant under Governor Quinn for $250,000 for the new park. However, when Governor Rauner came in, that grant was through the IDNR, Illinois Department of Natural Resources. When Governor Rauner became governor, he put a hold on all grants, so all that money's still sitting there. But you know, we're still waiting to see if we get that money, but that grant was specific for the park behind Wagner School. And that money went for redoing all the ball fields, new batting cages, new signage, new lighting coming in, a soccer field, a half a mile or quarter mile walking path, brand new playground equipment in that back area there. So all that money was already identified for that project. So I don't know about anything else.
I think that's what I was thinking of.
Okay.
But are we still able to get that or no?
We're still waiting. So, and we're waiting along with a lot of other towns. Federal money came through for a lot of towns, and the governor's put a hold on all of it. So, in fact, if you remember when he first got elected, they were having protests with people with their kids standing out there at baseball parks. If you remember, that was all over the news about how the governor held up money for all these parks. That money's still being held up, and all protests have stopped. So, all right, yes.
Mary Klopp, couple questions. What happens if you don't get the money for the reimbursement of the bike path? Then is Saukville liable for the full amount? Do the projects need to be pre-approved before funds are distributed? If approved, will it be included in next year's budget? And where will the money come from if the village becomes liable for the $1.3 million?
Is that all you have?
Yeah.
Okay. Money for reimbursement, again, it all goes through, you talk about the project and the project being approved. Tonight, the resolution that's before the board to be approved next week is saying that we're in favor of this. Getting all that approval going through is is part of getting reimbursement, and we're working with other communities. Once the project is approved, the money will be released. It's just like when we did the wells. The money is sitting there as you turn in your, I can't remember if they do it monthly or however they do it, as we get to certain steps, they turn in these lists and that money gets released. It's usually like a 30-day time you turn your project list in, getting that money. So again, I tell everyone, it kind of just like when we did the wells, that $4.8 million, the village paid for everything. We turned in our sheets and the village got reimbursed for that money as we spent it. So it's the same thing with most grants that you get. Where's the money coming from? Again, right now we're looking at, right now they're doing preliminary engineering studies, which has been paid through CMAQ, and our engineers are doing the work. So they're getting paid for that. The next phase is to get the construction and stuff going. Again, we're looking at probably not until 2018. So we'll have to make sure that we're looking at probably within the next 2 years, at least putting it in the budget. Just like you see with any grants we get, it's in the budget saying we expect to get so much money. For like 2 years, we had that $250,000 for the playground. Well, we never $250,000. We never got to $250,000, but it was sitting there waiting for the governor to release it. Okay, you don't do the work until they release the money. Once the money is released, that's when the work starts. And once they release the money, it gets paid. So again, we're talking federal funds, we're talking county. So there's been no problems with getting funds through, especially the federal and for the county. So, yes.
Mr. Mayor and the board members, I want to congratulate you on the courtyard that you have here. But I got a problem. When I turn down my street, I'm looking at trees that are dead, ready to fall over and kill somebody. That's a safety reason. And that's what the board ought to be looking at right now, instead of building bike paths and everything else. Let's get rid of these dead trees before somebody gets killed. That could be a child, it could be a senior citizen, it could be you, it could be me. It's got to be done. I'm tired of looking at these dead trees. That one day, one of them may fall on my truck while I'm in it. Thank you.
Trees are an issue in the village. I think JW is about 400. We've got about 400 trees throughout the village wide that need to come down. Again, everyone remembers the ash borer beetle, whatever it was called. That's kind of done a lot of damage to our trees in Sauk Village. And we're looking for if there's any federal funds available. Every once in a while you hear something. So Kevin's out looking for that. One good thing is that with the budget, now that it's passed, we're able to go out and get some part-time employees. Part-time employees will help take some of our employees who are doing the mowing of the grass and other little things to be able to get them to start working on some of these major projects. We talk about major projects are fire hydrants, street lights, trees, water main breaks, things like that. So part-time employees can help take care of the buildings and grounds and mowing grass and things like that. So, all right, yes.
Good afternoon, Board. Charles Pondexter, 832 Burton Drive. I'm also the president of the Deer Creek Homeowners Association, which is located on the west side of town, right behind Bloom Trail High School, where there's 107 homes, and we're fortunate there that we only have 3 vacancies, which is really great. But the thing is, the average taxpayer there pays $8,500 a year in taxes, and that comes out to over $900,000 a year that we pay in taxes there. And I have 6 items here that I'd like to discuss with the mayor and the board. We have sidewalks there. There are 6 locations where the sidewalk has risen 6 inches. We ask the kids not to play in the streets, but they can't ride their bikes on the sidewalks. There could be a bad accident or take a bad fall. And I'm a retired civil engineer, so I did an estimate that there are over 1,080 square feet of sidewalk replacement needed in that subdivision, which is 20 years old. Okay. And getting to the potholes, phase 1, from Maryburn Drive from Cottage Grove to Indy Lane, there are potholes there. That road is 20 years old. I guys come to a great job, come in, laying in cold patch. What we need is some patchwork. We need full depth patch there. Because these potholes just keep popping up and reoccurring. If you like, I can give you an estimate of that also. Piggybacking on the gentleman here about the trees. 107 homes, we have 95 dead trees. 95. And it is true, trees are falling over. And I need to know from the village, when they cut those trees, I can assist in going out there marking X's on the trees and giving addresses to the village. Okay? My number 4 here is cutting of the grass in the detention pond on the, behind the homes on the south side of Maryburn Drive. That grass is 7, 8 feet tall now. It seems to be the hardest thing to get the village to come out there and maintain that. And since it's been a detention pond, we have phase 1 that drains there. When that, all the water goes there, it can't get to the drains, to the proper outfall. We got a lake built up with mosquitoes. Okay, so that's dangerous for us and our senior citizens out there. Get the fire hydrants here. I've been out there 20 years and I haven't seen a fire hydrant get painted at all. And I haven't seen them exercise in years. I mean, my insurance would be very upset to know that I live right across the street from a fire hydrant and my house catch fire. And I can't, it doesn't work. They'd be very upset at that. So I would like to know what the village would do. And real quick, I'd like to leave residents here from Deer Creek, get your head with it.
All right. Let's go through it. You brought up taxes, and it's very, I understand the taxes being paid. First of all, I would encourage you to look at your tax bill and see how much of that comes to the village, okay?
10% comes to us, 90,000.
So, then $90,000 doesn't go very far.
Yep.
But, okay. So, when you look at your tax bill, look at the percentages going to your schools, multiple schools, your colleges, your library districts. I mean, I think last I checked, I thought there was like 13 different agencies that your money's going to, okay? Now, when you talk about the sidewalks and stuff, we'll have Kevin go out there and take a look at it. I know that Kevin just reported in the last village board meeting that the asphalt companies are open. And we just made a bunch of payments during the last, because I know because I signed the checks, during the last accounts payable to the asphalt companies so we could get more asphalt. So they're getting hot patch now to start going in. He also talked about how there's some areas that need to be cut out. So we'll have Kevin give us a report on that, where they're at. I know dead trees, the gentleman before you was talking about that. Cutting the grass, I'll find out about the detention pond. I know that there is a park that belongs to used to be the homeowners association out there.
It still is the homeowners association. We maintain that.
Okay.
And the lake.
All right, so I'll find out about the detention pond. And then the fire hydrants, we've done a report on the fire hydrants, and your area back there, the fire hydrants have been checked. And I've got a board that sits in my office that tells me out throughout the village what fire hydrants do not work. I will look to see if there's any in your area. In fact, if you want to, you can come to my office. You're more than willing to come in, I'll show you the board. It sits in front of my desk all the time, okay? So we keep that up to date. If something comes up, it's maintained by the Public Works Department, so we know what fire hydrants need to be worked on, where parts. I can tell you that what fire hydrants have been repaired. I can tell you what fire hydrants are under repair, and there's parts being ordered. And I can tell you which ones right now are not even on the list. Okay, so I can show you that. But I do know that they have been going out and keeping track of all the fire hydrants. We do know that fire hydrants could be a moving target, because if there's a fire, and they're tricky. You got fire hydrants that don't get used all the time. As you turn off, you turn it on too quick. There could be a plunger and parts inside that doesn't work. So if the fire department comes across one, automatically they're calling out Public Works. Public Works is coming out that within hours to verify that it's something we put in place.
Yeah,
so
fire department. We don't want to.
No, but I'm saying fire hydrants, maintenance, fire hydrants are being checked.
Very important.
So
wait till the fire.
Right.
To find out the hydrant don't work. Oh, fire hydrant don't work.
No, I'm saying, but what I'm saying is we look very closely at these fire hydrants and we've been checking, so But we'll get a report from Kevin to find out where we're at on potholes and fixing those. We'll find out about the trees and the sidewalks and the detention ponds. So we'll look into that and I'll send
And
you a
could you all
report.
get back
So,
to me and the homeowners association?
before
about
you
that?
leave, do me a favor, give me your phone number and I'll make sure I call you back.
Thank you.
So, all right.
I would like to piggyback on.
You can come.
I speak real loud, so everybody.
You come to Mike.
I would like to piggyback on what y'all said about the trees, the dead trees and the dying trees. Okay, it doesn't, all not dead, but a lot of them are dying. The ones in front of my house at 10 Devil Court are diseased and die. Even though they show leaves, they still die.
Okay.
Sir, can you say your name, sir?
Gregory Thomas.
Thank you.
All right.
Bernice Brewer on behalf of Sauk as a citizen for public awareness. Back in December 2015, you indicated that Illinois EPA loan was reduced to $825,000 and that you would be posting the information on the website. And to this date, which is June 2016, we haven't seen that information. I would like to know when that information is going to be available for us to review. And if what you're saying is true, when the loan has been reduced, we would like to know why we're still paying a higher rate for infrastructure that has not been replaced or repaired. And also, we'd like to know, since we only have to pay $825,000 of that $408 million, we'd like to know where's the supporting document, why are we still paying a higher rate? Why are we subjected to that kind of treatment? And you also mentioned a variety of townships that you guys have talked to about hooking up to Lake Michigan water. We would like to know, what townships have you been talking to, and what townships in the South suburb could afford to bust the union in their town and in ours? And we also would like to know, what Illinois state statute are you referring to that will allow you to do this sort of thing? So we'd like to know what's going on with that situation. That's my only question.
Point of clarification. I don't understand your last question.
According to you, and I have it on tape, you said that you talked to various towns in the south suburbs where they want to take over the public works. They are union. You actually sat here in the town hall meeting and said that. Now, you know that anytime you take over a town hall, there has to be negotiation among the contract. Somebody has to buy somebody out. Somebody has to negotiate with their people about the contract. So I wanted to know, who did you talk to? Where did you get that information?
All right.
And where's the supporting documents for all this stuff?
All right. First of all, the EPA loan, I'll have to work on getting that information out. The higher rates, I don't understand what you're talking about because you're not paying any higher rates. You're paying exactly what, in fact, you're paying less rates. I mean, you can go back and see how everything was amended. You were paying $10.50 per 1,000 gallons. You're down to $7.50. So you're paying less than now than what the amount was supposed to be for. Lake Michigan Water, there's no documentation. We're still talking to towns. And then we talked about, again, at one of the Meet the Mayors, which wasn't here, I don't think. But so I want to talk about one of the Meet the Mayors is how, that there is some companies out there. And those companies are very, I mean, if we said Aqua, everyone knows about Aqua. There's other companies that have approached, and their response is they want to take over our entire water department. And it's not something that would benefit the village for a company to come in, take over our water department. If they did, that means they could charge you whatever they wanted to. And, they may guarantee that they're going to make a Michigan water, but they won't give us any guarantees that they won't raise the rates higher because they're going to have to pay for all the infrastructure. So I think Aqua came before the village board probably, I'd have to look, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago, before my administration. It came under the previous administration. They've reached out to me as the mayor. There's been another company. If you want to go out, you can search them out online. All you have to do is search Aqua, and you'll see that this is what they do. They go into communities, they take over their water departments, and they run their water departments. So I did mention that at one of the Meet the Mayors. So I don't think there's anything to talk to about unions,
So
because we
that's
didn't
not,
do anything.
that's not, is this public,
But-
that's private industry? Is that what you're saying?
You can go online and check them out, okay, but they are private. So,
Yes.
all right, and they work for, Aqua right now, I think, is in Chicago Heights. So Chicago Heights, in fact, it was Mayor Gonzalez that introduced me with Aqua. So, again, we're still in communications with other communities when it comes to Lake Michigan water. Aqua looked at all of our stuff, again, whenever we talk to a community, if they want to, our books are wide open. If they can bring stuff, if they can bring Lake Michigan water to their residents, we're willing to work with them. But it seems like everyone, once they take a look at what type of infrastructure we have, the amount of work that it would take to bring Lake Michigan water, it's a major investment. And we looked at it, how many years ago it was going to cost about $20 million. You think about every year that cost increases. And for someone to come in here and either take over our water department or for another municipality to come in and bring us Lake Michigan water, you're looking at a large investment. Probably right now we're probably looking, and we can have Jim go through and we can pay them to do everything again, but I would say we're probably closer to 25 or 30 million now. Every year it just continues to increase and our infrastructure gets worse. So there's additional work that needs to be done. So that's where we're at right there. Now again, I'll look at getting stuff. I thought we put stuff out, but maybe I didn't on the IEP loan. All right, next. If you're gonna come up, you better come up. We're gonna get moving. Good.
Judy Cast here. I've asked this before and I don't really get a real answer to the question. Our police department has had mold for a lot of years. And I asked, had anybody ever taken responsibility to identify what that mold is? Knowing that black mold is deadly, have we yet taken any steps to identify what it is and what steps we have to take to clean up what is there, whether it's black mold or any other kind? And also, when is the work on the asbestos going to start at the community center? Those are my two questions.
All right. Hang on a second. Backwards, community center. I have to get an update. I don't have that off the top of my head. But let me know. I know Kevin's got that one, right? So we'll get on that community center. If you can give me an answer before next Tuesday, next time it's going to come up again. The mold, you're right. The mold has been an issue for years. See, back in, 1985, was it? 84, 85, 86, I was a police cadet. So, mold's been a long time. You ask, is anyone doing anything? You can look at, we've had a lot of administrations here. We've had a lot of police chiefs, deputy chiefs. We've had people in control. So there's a lot of people you can probably ask if anything's been done. I think that the chief that we currently have knows that we have an issue. And he's looking into it, and maybe you can give us an update at next Tuesday nights in your report on the steps that are being taken to address the mold in the basement. And we'll find out that the chief will be part of his report. All right?
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, we'll go to miscellaneous business. Comments from trustees. Trustee Williams. No, not Trustee Burgess.
I have a public works meeting tomorrow at 7 o'clock here at Village Hall. That's it.
All right, Trustee Cates.
There's a IGRC team meeting tomorrow at 3 o'clock at the administrative building down the road.
Thank you, Trustee Jones.
There are new timing and scheduling for Respond Down, the food pantry. As of June 14, 2016 through August 2016 to the end of August. The food pantry will be from 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. That's the new time, 3:30 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. on Tuesdays. That's it.
Yes, trustee.
Is that strictly for a village or that's surrounding area for the food pantry? Does it have to be strictly for the village employees or can
No,
the outside area?
no, that's not strictly for.
Trustee.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just one announcement, just want to remind everyone that Neighborhood Watch will be having our regular scheduled meeting on this coming Monday at the fire station at 7 o'clock. Also, if you know anyone that want to make donations toward our book bags and our supplies for book bags, they can bring them to the village hall during the regular business hours every day. And I also want to announce that Neighborhood Watch is going to be participating in our 4th of July Independence Day celebration parade. And if there's anyone that want to walk with Neighborhood Watch, you can contact me and let me know. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I make one comment?
Yes, go ahead.
The IGRC team meeting tomorrow is at 3 o'clock, but it's going to be at the library instead of the admin center. So for those who want to attend, thank you.
Trustee Rich.
A couple of things, Mr. Mayor, and the audience. Remember the parade is on the 2nd of July. Empty breaks out, we're coming in for your regular now. This is for anybody in the entire town wants to put something in there. Any of the kids wants to get together and throw anything together. I know I received an application for 2 young lads that wants to pull a wagon down the middle of the Sauk Trail, and no problem. It's representing the town, but it doesn't represent the blue, so there's no problem. Anybody come out. I really do some pick up application, fill out forms, and write every name and register for the parade. I found out today that the debt recovery is doing real good. I'll have a set amount of how much we have collected since we've gone with the debt recovery between the JW and myself and the committee. We're doing pretty good there. And I want to thank Mrs. Cass, that's one of the questions I would have had too about asbestos. And I was informed today that it's still in their works. The mayor assured me a couple of meetings ago that it would be shortly. And then today, JW informed me that Kevin is working on it and it should be very soon now before we get to that asbestos. Thank you. And that's all I have, sir.
All right, thank you very much. While I'm thinking of it, did we ever get a response back from the county and see if they're going to waive those fees? Okay, so just for the board notes, we asked JW to reach out to the county. There is a permit that we have to buy through the county. It's over $2,000. We've reached out to President Fred Minko's office to ask if we can get them to waive it. Okay, as of right now, we haven't heard anything. So again, that was to help keep money inside the Parks and Recs. So what would help is if you guys want to work together, you're the chair, get a letter to President Fred Minko's office asking that they will waive the permit to have that asbestos removed. Okay? And okay, make sure we get to our own questions too. All right, John? All right. Let's see, got a bunch of stuff here. While I'm thinking of it, down here at the end, Trustee Myers, Suburban Towing, I talked to them today. They will put a truck in, but they need information. So, okay, so if you want to write these down, because these people I've been talking to for you. All right? I also talked to Homewood Disposal.
Okay.
Homewood Disposal said they had not received any information. They're looking for the application so they can get it to their correct people so they can have a truck in. Set Enterprise, I sent it to all the wrong people, I think. I finally got it to you. Okay, Set Enterprise wants to have, so you can talk to them. They're looking for a letter or something, right? Probably the application. So carry an application ready there also. Set Enterprise and put a vehicle in. So those are some of the people we've talked to make sure that it goes forward. Just so the residents know, there's openings up on commissions. So we have an opening up on the zoning board commission, and there's an opening on the housing commission. If you're interested, please make sure you send a letter to my attention so that we can get these positions filled. We'll have the Meet the Mayor here this Saturday out in the lobby. So if you want to come out, a time where you can come out and ask questions and talk about topics. The senior committee is having a meeting on June the 9th here in the senior center at 7 p.m. That's the senior committee. If you have access to either my blog or Facebook page, you'll see some of the stuff out there, but we've got information from LG Sim's office on two events. We've got the SCA Summer Calumet Crew Program. That's going to be happening July 5th through August the 12th. The pay for that program is $8.75 per hour for 36 hours a week, and it's made and designed for youth from the age of 15 to 19 years old. So if you have anyone that you know that young people are looking for a job, you might want to reach out there. Again, the information is on my Facebook page and on 15 to 19. So it's on my Facebook page and it's also on my blog. The other one we got from State Representative's office is the CBA Junior Annual Employment Workshop and Job Fair. That's on June 4th and June 11th. Again, all the information on locations and where it's at, you can find it on my Facebook page or on my blog. Again, that's for helping the youth also, ages 16 through 24. So if you know any young people, maybe looking for summer jobs, people that are just getting out of high school, this would be a great opportunity for this workshop and this job fair. We put out there also comments and information. Smart meters are coming to Sauk Village. You've probably heard about it a lot, especially in the northwest suburbs. The installment will start happening in Sauk Village in July and work all the way through November. Again, check out my blog or my Facebook page. You'll find out there's a map. You can see where you live, and it's color-coded, telling you when smart meters will be installed in your area. All right, so that's out there also. Sauk Village Fire Association is having a car show on June the 18th, right over here in Advance Auto. So if you're it's a Saturday, I haven't heard it announced here too much in during board meetings, so I want to make sure we get that information out on June the 18th. We have also, going forward in the months of July and August, I've already reserved the parking lot. We're going to have Sauk Village Firefighters Association is going to move the car show to here. So in an effort to get some other cars that don't want to go through the bumps and go down the hills because of their cars are so low. We have a nice flat parking lot out here. So in July and August, we're looking for the Firefighter Association to have their car show right here at the Village Hall. So we're excited about that. I met with some of the people there setting it up. So it's already reserved, and I think it's the third Saturday of each month, if I remember right, but don't quote me on that. We'll have them put the information out. As they put the information out, we'll provide it. And again, a lot of this depends on weather permitting, because we know how car people are with their cars. Independence Day celebrations on July the 2nd. We've been talking about it. We've got the parade. We've got the work going on here. Just so the village board knows, and you're probably going to hear about it, I'm still out soliciting funds for fireworks. Since the village board shut it down, we're going to go out and see if we can get independent people that will want to pay for fireworks. So we're reaching out so that we can still have an event for the residents. All right? With that said, again, we'll let you know the closer we get if the funds are available. We have short notice, but we're still all right? With that said, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn.
Yes.
Yeah, motion in a second. Motion in a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Meeting adjourned.
Does anybody drop their car keys?
I left that for that one.
Well, no one to get to the car.
I left that one to go to the house now.